back from our sponsor, and I shouldn't be actually with that much vibe. This is not a great topic, but I feel like it is something we should cover and touch upon. Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. has been taken into custody. The 23-year-old guard was arrested on alleged assault on his girlfriend, named former WNBA player. Hopefully I don't butcher her name. I apologize in advance. It's Kayseri Gundrezic. Maybe, possibly, I hope. Right now, essentially, things are still in the air. There's a lot of allegations, some rough stuff. They did apparently assaulted her allegedly while she was sleeping, and some of the stuff.
Sexually assaulted her.
No, physically assaulted her. Or both.
You're right.
Physically assault, like, essentially, for lack of a better word, beat her up. And right now, if the Rockets were to cut him, he'd still get like $16 million. But apparently they're looking to trade. Don't know what NBA team would trade for that contract and for that headache.
I know a team. We'll make it work.
Portland?
I didn't say
Stop.
Neil should be like, this is the deal we've been waiting for Dame.
I'm pretty positive though he sexually assaulted the masseuse or something a few years ago. It was roughly around the same.
Okay, I actually found a hit list of his history of misconduct. Seattle's very own, everyone, remember. So he's 2019 suspended by USC for personal conduct issues. Exact reason unknown. 2020 accused of punching a woman. Charges not pressed. 2020 again arrested for handling firearm in a vehicle, marijuana possession, driving without a license. 2021 verbal altercation with Cavs GM in the locker room. Traded to Houston. Sustained minor injuries at a Miami strip club altercation. 2021. 2022 dispute with Rockets coach John Lucas at halftime, left mid-game, and then 2023, which is this case, felony assault and strangulation charges in New York hotel, and accused of breaking bones and choking.
What is wrong
in the vertebrae?
So let me give more information to you as well. So more context, even though his response and what he did is uncalled for. So also want to say allegedly as well. So hopefully they show the hotel footage because I think it will kind of like help expedite and like get things moving with this.
Yeah.
So allegedly he was out partying and his significant other was in the hotel room, and it's either he forgot his key or all the keys are in the room. So like he was upset because he couldn't get into his room, so he had to go back downstairs to get a key. So when he went back upstairs, he was upset and he was been drinking, even though that's not an excuse. So like allegedly there was like an altercation like outside too as well, because like he had the key in, he was upset, and then I'm pretty sure a lot of the assault happened inside the room. But like allegedly from what I've heard and what I've saw, that there's a little bit of it was shown in the hallway.
Started in the hallway.
Yeah, started in the hallway.
Yeah, and I think it ended because she ran into the hallway like all bloody.
Okay.
That's what allegedly what I saw online. Now, what is the NBA gonna do about this type of stuff?
I know we'll briefly talk about some of the like new gameplay rules and things like that when it comes to the NBA and things like that. But like, I hate to hold these two things like there, but it's like the NBA's got to kind of have like some new rules where like we look at Zion and Mariah Mills and like her like threatening him, where it's kind of like, how could I? Because like the NBA is really looking out for themselves, right? So it's kind of like it's hard to condemn like a DeAndre Ayton or
what did Ayton do?
Anywho, we're being serious. We're being serious.
That's nothing bad.
But I'm just saying it has the possibility to turn into Mariah Mills, where like you're on Twitter being like, hey, I'm gonna do all these different things, expose the NBA's doing all this. The NBA's like, look here, we didn't have no time for this. And then on the flip side, of the other side of the spectrum, right? Because Zion didn't ask for that. You have people like I almost disrespect him, call him Book. That's not you, Book.
Booker.
Booker didn't do nothing stupid like this. Porter, right?
Yeah.
You got the other side of the dudes like Porter or Birdman. They do stupid shit like this, where like it's kind of hard to like have a rule where like if you do one thing, we just gotta scrap you, right? Rather than like doing the investigation. So it's like it's very tough. Because like we have to say allegedly because like it's the whole situation is horrible.
It. I don't condone sexual assault, physical assault, any assault, especially towards a woman. I don't condone that at all. He needs to be tried just as a regular human being and take the NBA aspect out of it. Yes, the NBA has to do something because he's an NBA player, but I would look at it as if it's a regular job. If you don't go to work, you don't show up to work, you don't fulfill your contract, you get cut. And I think that's how they have to look at it. You go to jail. If you work as a postman, you don't work as a postman anymore. That's just.
It's just hard.
But my thing to that is, my thing to that is, we continue to put athletes on pedestals in different aspects, and we can't continue to put athletes on pedestals, treat them as if they're working a regular job, and that repercussion of a regular job should be that as so.
The only thing I would say why the NBA maybe needs to get involved with this stuff is, for example, a normal person, they go to jail, they lose their job. They no longer have their salary.
Yes.
NBA contracts are to some degree guaranteed.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, if he gets cut and doesn't ever play an NBA game again, he still gets $16 million.
16 or 60?
16.
But my thing to that is there has to be some sort of clause in there that says if he goes to jail or prison or whatever, he doesn't get that.
Aaron Hernandez killed a man. He still got his money.
So, and that's why
Go ahead.
I'm saying, but that's why I brought up the thing of like, because now I'll get it out of basketball and go into football. What's the analyst? He was with Skip and stuff now.
Shannon.
No, Skip. He left. He was with the Dallas. He plays with Michael Irvin, right?
Michael Irvin.
They were trying to say Michael Irvin sexually assaulted that person, right?
Yeah.
And then the NFL was like, right before Super Bowl, get you up out of there. And it comes to find out he didn't do that. So now there's a lawsuit. There's that where it's kind of like, that's why I brought up the spectrum. It's like we need to do our investigations, and like this. It's almost kind of like when the video comes out. Just think about with the Ray Rice thing, right?
Yep.
See how quickly that went? Because like video, I think so it's like it's hard because he was able to bail himself out, and there's nothing because we legitimately have to say allegedly, right? Until
to me, this goes back to any CEO, right? Any CEO who does something wrong and bails himself out until the trial happens, sometimes pays off whatever and get done, whatever the case may be. It's the same type of situation, and we can't continue to put these situations out there as if it's not someone working at Best Buy who's a CFO for Best Buy assaulting women. You can't, or the dude from the show.
Ezra.
Him. That's another one, right?
Mason Greenwood.
No, the Rick and Morty dude, right?
Rick and
So
Morty.
like,
Justin Roiland.
so it's we have to continue to look at these things in the same way. Assault is assault, regardless of who it's done by, and we have to treat it the same.
I'm not trying to give you pushback because I'm literally on your same. I'm on your same side. It's just like it's like a layer of acceptance where like we have to treat those people like regular people, but it's almost kind of you look at like the strikes, and I'm trying to weave all these things together.
Mm-hmm.
The people are striking so we can have fair wages, and these people are holding out this large lump sum of money, and it's been allowed to go on this long. Where it's kind of like those people get advantages and privileges. Where like, I would hope, let's just say, when we blow up all the different things, when we have more comfortable money, I would hope, if Andrew came out and did some like wild stuff, that he would be like man enough to be like, yo, like I want to take responsibility. I gotta step down from what I'm doing. Where it's kind of like, I called us, new media. We got to be a new company where like how that stuff operates and works, even though we won't be perfect, but it's almost kind of like you got to surround yourself around like, how can I want to be different?
Last question I have on this. Would you guys be okay if he played in the league again?
No.
No.
I'm there with you. I don't want to see. Same way I don't want to see Mason Greenwood play. Who we covered Mason Greenwood a couple months ago. Who the videos came out of him sexually assaulting his girlfriend at the time. He's back playing.
Really?
But they loaned him out, so he's playing in Spain to kind of like divert some of the like criticism. But even then, like it's all over, like people on social media are not letting it go, and they shouldn't.
Oh, you shouldn't.
But we'll see. This is going to be interesting. I think yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I have one thing to kind of add, and then you could definitely. One thing that was mentioned is like the sister of who this happened to.
Yeah.
She
made a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of like, and that just gets into like another added layer where it's kind of like, I'm not gonna do like the if this happened to your sister, what would you do type of thing where it's kind of like, you know, those people have a right to be like outraged for like how that is, but it's almost kind of like sometimes if someone's gonna do that, you just got equalizer, click that shit and be like, all right, bet. Because when you do that, that means, believe it or not, that person's gonna get extra protection from the government,
and it doesn't look great in like a court.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
But no, I know you were about to say something.
I was having a conversation about self-defense this morning, and the level playing field law of like if someone socks you, you can't stab them. You will no longer get claimed self-defense. It has to be of equal stature. So if someone stabs you, you have the opportunity to stab them too as well, and you can claim self-defense. So in a situation like this, like I hate to say it, but man, somebody need to let her get her licks in and even out the playing field, and really just like, I think we have to, I don't know, this dude shouldn't be allowed. He has a track record of being not only aggressive, but assaulting women and other human beings. He needs some sense of a reality check, whatever that case may be. Yep. And, you know, they shouldn't have gave him bail. Honestly, he shouldn't have had a bail because of his track record. And I think that is where we have to begin to look at, like, for example, a Ray Rice situation. Was there a track record?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Maybe not, right? Mm-hmm. He was instantly kicked out of the league after that. Yeah. Right? This has to be similar in some facet and be like, look, he's kicked out the league because he had not only has a track record, but also like he assaulted somebody.
I just wish something. Last thing I'll say on this, and people say this around Twitter, which I completely agree with. What's that guy's name that came out and said that thing about like that U.S. track athlete? That's the thing about like NBA champions aren't world champions.
Noah
Lyles. How the whole league jumped, like NBA players jumped on Noah Lyles, called him like a dummy or whatever, and all this stuff. Be nice if you saw some NBA players being like, I don't want to see this guy in our league anymore.
Ooh,
you know,
if
some guys came out, even if some of his teammates came out, and be like, we don't need this in the league, you know.
Ooh.
But the league is a little too big of a fraternity to really see that, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like that. How about that?
That's something that we talked about with Pounce.
Damn. That's
but that would be dope. I think
it's stuff like that has to happen for it to like.
We have to change that narrative.
Yeah, and I think that's the part of like masculinity and manhood of like what we've always talked about and what we broadcast about, where it's kind of like, I don't know if we've talked about funny. I'm like, oh, what happens if we're at the club and, you know, or I'm going to blur that out, but, you know, what happens if I'm at the club and, you know, I have a wife and like being like, bro, what you doing? Because if he's willing to do that to someone he's putting his penis in, what is he willing to do to you? Like, and that's like supreme ultimate trust. So I think it just really takes, you know, people, you know, standing up differently, just like Cost was saying, just as you were saying, where it's kind of like the new wave of manhood is like, if you're upset with her, let her go. Like, it doesn't have to get to this level. Like, it always gets to these levels because people want to have their cake and eat it too. About that control aspect. And real men, if know how to be like, that's not for me.
You got the last topic?
Last topic, and we'll be quick and easy, and then we can get on out of here. So,
Chick.
I know y'all